Everypony. I announce the return of My Little Pony Monday, or Let's Talk Pony Monday. You decide. Now, it's episode 95. The title is Earth Day for Everypony. Time for the intro. So yeah, things have happened recently, such as the bunny and dog are nowhere to be seen. Yeah, I've been searching for them, and this time I'm gonna start pre-recording these videos. Because it's healthier for me and for my grades. So, the lesson plan for today... Okay. First, we're gonna talk about Earth Day. Earth Day is coming up. And how does this relate to My Little Pony? Well, today, we are going to discuss pony effects on the environment. How do ponies do change to the environment in what ways? You can first talk about Fluttershy and how she keeps the animals well fed and cared for. But is this really helpful? It is directly mentioned that ponies actually directly manage the weather and time on Equestria. Shocker! I didn't know about that. No shame for those who didn't know that. But they control weather, they change the seasons directly, as we see with Winter Wrap-Up. They tend to the forests, and they care for wildlife. It's Earth ponies especially that show their respect to the land. As I said, events like Winter Wrap-Up, and the running of the leaves, and the summer sun celebration, and they bring about these seasons. The Winter Wrap-Up puts Equestria into spring, with the snow cleared up, the ice broken, and the wildlife returning. The running of the leaves helps to put fall into winter. And the summer sun celebration ushers in summer. The show has portrayed environmental care as part of keeping harmony itself healthy. As ponies respect nature, magic will flow and communities will thrive. You can make friendships on environmental care, strengthening the magical bond that Equestria has. There are special places like the Everfree Forests, the tundra of the Crystal Empire, and the environments of the Dragonlands. And these ponies know that they should not control these environments, and they should instead adapt to these environments. Especially with animal care too, where Fluttershy's work has a significant impact. However, they control the environment a little too much. And then they start having weather factories. These weather factories and scheduling seasons. This can disrupt the what I like to call circadian rhythm of nature. It creates problems when those systems break, or when some ponies misuse them. There are episodes like Winter Wrap-Up where ponies can procrastinate or mismanage responsibilities, which might cause harm, actually. The Pegasi especially have this problem where the factories in Cloudsdale cause some pollution, some magical accidents by unicorns, and of course, Flim and Flam's fuckery. And then there are invasive species issues, like how Fluttershy, I know, I forgive her. Fluttershy brought in the Parasprites, which were invasive species that ate everything in sight. Then there are the dragons, who can literally wage war against Equestria and destroy everything. And there's also this dragon from Dragonshy that was filling the air with the smoke, which caused pollution and environmental damage. Some of it is mainly because ponies are failing to respect their habitats. And then we see constant colonial expansion far beyond Ponyville and Canterlot, like Appaloosa, and how ponies can war with native species, like the buffaloes from Over a Barrel. And this has a ton of questions about how ponies use the land and how they can ecologically balance it. It also has the chance of weakening the bond of harmony. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm dying. I think I'm having an allergic reaction. I might be sick. I don't know. If an ecosystem starts failing, you might have noticed that the ponies are taking shortcuts. A creature has a habitat that is destroyed by well-meaning but neglectful ponies. Like a winter wrap-up tradition that backfires and uses mechanical things. And you have to worry about the foals and why they even care about saving or controlling nature. The main idea of all of this is that harmony isn't just friendship between ponies. It's the relationship between ponies and their nation. In this case, the thread between them and their nation is called harmony. And it can be maintained by the weather, the season, the crops, and the wildlife. They are all magically linked to whatever the ponies do. And when ponies work together to care for nature, the magic will flow like notes in a piano sheet. If you had events like Winter Wrap-Up, they would have every tribe contribute. And stewardship becomes a social glue, and it creates more friendships and more bonds. Ponies control nature, but they also know when to let nature take its course. And that balance is important for harmony. And damage to nature can cause that disharmony. When Cloudsdale weather factories fail, for example. When Cloudsdale Pegasi abuse the weather, it causes chaos in regions where the weather is controlled. This would lead to a bunch of negative emotions. There's Poison Joke, there's Plunder Vines, there's Paris Sprites, and then there's the Everfree magic. They all show how environmental disruption can turn into magical instability. And when nature goes wrong, ponies begin to panic. And in that panic, they argue. And in those arguments, they blame each other. And once they blame each other, you have sown the seeds for disharmony. And if ponies stop participating in seasonal traditions, the world basically just stops working. Yeah, you heard that correctly. It just stops working. Now, if environmental magic failed, conflict would be extremely likely between the ponies and the creatures. Like dragons, and yaks, and changelings, and buffalo, and griffins, and... If those environments collapse, they can blame ponies for that collapse. Because ponies are in charge of most things. And the environment is most things. Stable magic ecosystems are important for creatures like changelings, the Kirin, the breezies, and even the dragons. And then it could reignite historical tensions if environmental magic failed, such as the scenes we've had where the Appaloosa Earth Ponies challenged the buffalo, and when the dragons were thinking about invading Equestria. This environmental stress can reignite conflicts as old as time. The environmental word of the day is biodegradable. Something is biodegradable when it can be broken down naturally by living things. And instead of sitting around for decades, it returns to the soil as harmless organic matter. Examples of biodegradable things include pieces of food, paper products, natural fabrics, wood and leaves, compostable packaging, and more. Unfortunately, plastic, metal, glass, and synthetic fibers are not biodegradable, as they can last for centuries. I hope you learned something new. And that'll end off this week's rope. And here are our updated stats, even though we haven't updated in a while. We've just reached 500,000 views. Thank you all so much. We've been working very hard to do this. These are the updated things. I forgot what honesty or generosity was, so I put random numbers for it. The goals are to the right. And here are future episodes that we're deciding to do. Such as episode 96. We're going to do the multi-animator project and Little Shy reaction on April 27th. On May 4th, the Equestrian Space Administration has something to tell us, and I am excited. On episode 98, what if we imagine that Rainbow Dash became the Alicorn instead of Twilight Sparkle. Our next episode reaction will be on May 18th, episode 99. We're going to celebrate 100 weeks of MLP Monday on May 25th. Is the total brand evolution really worth it? And finally, we're gonna do a moving out special. This will be the last... That will be one of the last times I'm going to be in this city. It'll be sad to see me go, but this isn't the end, as I'll still be posting. I just won't be posting that weekend. I still love y'all. I will always love y'all. Thank you for all that you've done. And we'll see you next week. Love y'all. We're Dark Knight Dragons. Keep flying.